In Dumas, Arkansas, in the Bio-Macon watershed, Steve Stevens owns a row crop operation. For 2014, he planted about 1,100 acres of cotton, 2,600 acres of soybeans, and 600 acres of corn. Stevens' farm started out as a homestead in 1937. He's been farming for 43 years. The Stevens farm is located in a critical groundwater area due to the declining groundwater levels. Stevens is concerned with conserving water not only for his benefit, but for generations to come. Stevens, other farmers, and agricultural researchers are aware that many people blame farmers for the nutrient overload in streams, lakes, and ponds, which can enhance the growth of algae and weeds. Some people are also pointing fingers at farmers for contributing to the hypoxia issue in the Gulf of Mexico. In 2013, Stevens was approached by University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture professor Mike Daniels to see if he would be interested in hosting a discovery farm project on his operation to monitor his cotton fields. Discovery farm projects are set up on privately owned farms where U of A researchers can conduct research and demonstrations regarding the environmental impact of agricultural production. Stevens explains why he was interested in having a discovery farm project on his property.
When I was a young man, 25 years old or so, my dad said, "Son, whatever you do, you want to leave the land in better shape than you found it." The area, the watershed that we're in, we're being charged with adding to the hypoxia in the Gulf of Mexico, and as usual, we're guilty until proven innocent. So that allowed us to look and just see what we were doing.
The Stevens farm is the only discovery farm in Arkansas that is collecting research on cotton fields. Stevens irrigates his fields with polypipe. Polypipe is a flexible hose that is laid across one end of the field with holes for every row of crop. Once the water is turned on, the polypipe expands and water exits through the holes and flows between the crop rows, allowing water to irrigate the plants. Since 2008, Stevens has used the Faucet computer program to help regulate his irrigation. Faucet software uses field and technical information to calculate existing system performance and to find alternatives for improving irrigation efficiencies. The program considers pipe diameter, pressure, gate openings, furrow spacing, elevations, row length, and system flow rate to generate irrigation calculations specific for every field. Stevens has saved 25 to 40% on pumping costs by using Faucet software. In addition to preserving water for generations to come, that also translates into less energy use and fewer repairs to wells and power units. Stevens also has flow meters set up at specific intervals across the field to regulate the amount of water that is used to irrigate the crops. Surge valves allow farmers to water different parts of the field that need it more. This allows farmers to conserve water by reducing the amount of water that drains off the field. Stevens further explains the practices he has incorporated on his farm.
I don't think it's fair for my generation to use all the water. We've been blessed with good water, and we need to take care of it. There's been some data that shows that if 80% or more of the Mid-South growers used a Faucet program, pipe planter type program, that we could stop the decline and recharge what we're using, and I think this is very important. Some of the practices that we use, we've been on stale seedbed since the early 90s, and have really found that beneficial. Sometimes we no-till as necessary. And another thing that we started doing a few years ago from one of the tests that we had on the farm, we do not apply any commercial fertilizer until after the crop stand is established. And we feel like we're putting the fertilizer out at a time that the plant really uses it.
Cross-County Agent Rick Wimberly explains surge valve technology.
By using surge technology, we have found that we can run these irrigation wells and commit that entire well to one set or one side of the valve, which allows us to push the water a little bit faster through the field, and at the same time preventing loss of irrigation water through soaking down in the soil profile to the point that it's unavailable to the plants.
To collect sound research for the Discovery Farm projects, there are research stations set up across Stevens' farm. The flumes monitor and capture the water that runs off the field so that Discovery Farm field technicians can collect the samples and analyze them. After it rains on a site, the Discovery Farm field technicians receive a text message when a sample has been triggered. When the field technicians collect the sample, they record the data electronically on a laptop computer and keep a handwritten record as well. After the samples are collected, the Discovery Farm field technicians take the samples to a water quality lab where they look for nitrogen, phosphorus, and total suspended solids that run off the fields and are held in the tailwater recovery ditches. Mike Daniels, professor of environmental management for the U of A Division of Agriculture and co-chair for Arkansas Discovery Farms, works closely with farmers to develop best management practices for their farms.
We use state-of-the-art automated water quality sampling equipment. We can program it to measure the amount of water going through a flow structure like a weir or a flume, or in many cases in eastern Arkansas, fields drain through a pipe. And we can instrument those pipes and calculate how much water is losing from the field. And we can also program our samplers then to take so many samples during that water loss that we can take back to the lab and analyze. And then we get the concentration of nutrients plus the volume of water, and concentration times volume gives us the mass or the weight or the load of nutrients and sediment that are leaving the field. And then we can go back and look at that, compare it to what we've applied, and see how efficient we're being. And what we're finding is that the losses are much lower than we anticipated on many of these Discovery Farms.
With the collection of sound baseline data underway, Stevens and many others are eagerly awaiting to see the results from the data collected on his farm. Stevens and the Discovery Farm researchers expect the data to show that relatively low amounts of nutrients are running off the Stevens farm because of the best management practice being used to prevent nutrient runoff. For more information on Arkansas Discovery Farms, visit discoveryfarms.uark.edu.